Good afternoon. The sisters' primary Civil War contribution was spiritual and medical. And it's important to note these sisters were not simply compassionate women. They were medical professionals. As Maher writes, sisters were the only trained nurses available at the start of the Civil War, before you see this mass influx of volunteers both north and south.
I have a cup of coffee from Monica's in a cup that says 2001 Big Ten champions, Illinois, Fighting Illini. Do you guys know the Folgers theme song?
Folgers has a theme song?
Yeah. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Like it's really into it. Like it's like, dude, it's just coffee, man. It's not necessary to get that excited. Who say what can be right? That's the real song. That's the real song. My friends, welcome. It's so good to see all of you. You're my favorite people, truly. It's so great to be with you. And everyone watching online later, hello. We're just gonna get right to it. The reason I did the Folgers thing beforehand is let's get all the nonsense out of the way. I've got this, ready? I've got so much chronology, the statisticians envy me. I've got more dates on the board than a farmer. I cannot.
Gracjan Kraszewski. Postava dnešního utkání, bezchybný v obraně. A tohle je perfektní line drive, který nemůže.
Daj, Gracjan!
Jo!
Okay, because the broad jump is primarily associated with the National Football League, especially the annual scouting combine held every year in Indianapolis for prospective players for the NFL. We're going to focus on, in terms of contextualization, broad jumps related to the combine to NFL players. So if you look at this first graph from NFLsavant.com, average broad jump by position, you have on the low end nose tackles, offensive guards, up to about already getting towards 9 feet, which is 108 inches, defensive tackles and quarterbacks, down to the cornerbacks, the safeties, the wide receivers, who are near 120 inches or 10 feet. But once more, it's very, very important to realize these are only averages. If you go now to fantasypros.com, broad jump results from the most recent 2024 combine, you see there are tons of players who were able to jump over 120 inches, 10 feet. Right at the top, Max Melton and Adonai Mitchell, a cornerback and a wide receiver from Rutgers and Texas respectively, each jumped 11'4", 136 inches. Crazy, crazy impressive. And in fact, there are 8 players from Max Melton all the way down to Ryan Flournoy, a receiver from Southeast Missouri State, that hit the 11-foot mark, or 132 inches. And you scroll, you see how many players are over 120, over 10 feet. And again, a quick, once more, kind of comparative, contextual thing. Even the most random type of Google search that you do will tell you that, for the average male, average trained male, a broad jump between 8 feet and 9 feet is pretty good, even like exceptionally good. That the average untrained male, if he can jump close to 8 feet, that's not bad, kind of thing. So there's tons of guys, obviously these people at the NFL Combine, some of the best athletes in the world, who are not only surpassing the 120-inch 10-foot mark, but getting up even over 11 feet. However, Byron Jones And anyone, saw this coming knows where this is going. Anyone who's a fan of the Combine, fan of football, will be very, very familiar with Byron Jones. At the 2015 NFL Combine, so now 9 years ago, Byron Jones set the world record at 12 foot 3 inches. It's impossibly impressive. It's crazy. It's insane. He jumped over 12 feet. It's so insane. I'm going to stop talking and just let you see it for yourself.
That broad of 12.3, which is 8 inches better than anything else we've ever seen here covering a combine on NFL level.
Okay, so Byron Jones, highest level of respect to him. Incredible God-given ability. I mean, just truly, truly fascinating and once more beyond words. Byron Jones, to reiterate, holds the world record in the broad jump. Or as people in the athletics community in Europe might call it, the standing long jump. The standing long jump has a long, long history. As I began saying a couple minutes ago, we think about the broad jump in America, especially related to the NFL, and that's certainly true, and just football in general. But the standing long jump has a very, very long, even Olympic history. If you go and look up this exercise, it'll take you to some of the first kind of most basic entries, like a Wikipedia page, will say the following. Ray Urey set the first world record for the standing long jump at 3.47 meters, 11 feet 4.5 inches on September 3rd, 1904. The current unofficial record is held by Jones, as we said, and he surpassed this guy, Arne Tvervåg, this Norwegian shot putter, who in 1968 jumped 12 foot 2 himself. So as far as we know, as far as I know, Tvervåg and Jones are the only two men to ever standing long jump, broad jump over 12 feet. Absolutely insane. But let's go back to Ray Urey, right? Okay, so Ray Urey, September 3rd, 1904, it's 120 years ago, jumped 11 foot 4.5 inches. So he would have the number one broad jump at the 2024 NFL Combine. We have this kind of hubris now, right? Oh, our society is better than ever. We're just the best. Everyone back then, all the athletes, they weren't as good as they are now. And there's certainly truth to that. But okay, here you go, right? Just the facts, just the numbers. Ray Urey, this American athlete from 1904, had a broad jump of 11 feet, 4.5 inches that today would be the best mark at the NFL Combine, 2024. Quick note on Urey, very, very cool, interesting guy. He was born in 1873, Lafayette, Indiana. And so unsurprisingly, he attends Purdue University, which is in that city, dies in 1937. He, as a young boy, the most famous person to suffer with this, of course, is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Urey contracted polio. He had to use a wheelchair as a young man, and people thought, he might be paralyzed for life. Au contraire. If you look up Roy Urey, he was a gold medalist in the standing long jump 1900 in Paris, and then repeated 1904 in St. Louis, and at the 1908 games in London, standing long jump gold medalist once more. So this exercise today has been so focused on the NFL and football players actually has a long, long-standing history behind it. Okay, so a final thing before getting to the whole point of this video and answering that question, how far can a 37-year-old history PhD author and baseball player broad jump? I want to make note on what is, without question and verifiably, the greatest broad jump ever recorded on the planet, period. Before, we were talking mainly about football players, athletes in general, but really restricting it to human beings. In the famous Patterson-Gimlin film, it's a film footage that was shot in 1967 in Northern California that proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the existence of Bigfoot. What scientists have only recently uncovered is that the reason that Bigfoot is walking with a lot of this kind of confidence, this swagger almost, is he just got done broad jumping 371 feet. 371 feet is the world record. Any living thing. If you're talking strictly, humans, right? That's another story. But living creatures, living beings, 371 feet in Northern California, registered by Bigfoot immediately before this famous film that proves his existence was taken. It's just amazing. It's amazing the coincidence of that the really minutes before this film, that proves Bigfoot is real is shot, he sets the world broad jump record so high it will never ever be surpassed. I think we can say that as historians, as scholars, with a lot of confidence. I want to note one frustration though. So again, the official scientific mark is 371 feet. I've heard people saying, and it makes me very, very frustrated, that Bigfoot can actually broad jump over 400 feet. I've heard even some people have the temerity, the audacity to claim that Bigfoot can get close to 500 feet. This is disgusting. This kind of conspiratorial stuff, departing from the science, saying things to get a reaction, as if Bigfoot could actually jump 500 feet is just absolutely unacceptable. And I want to say that I stand against that. I'm always about the science, the facts, the reality. So please don't let anyone ever tell you differently. The official record is not 400 or 500 feet, it's 371 feet.